Hello everyone. In this video, I want to explain one of the most important ideas we learned in my second language acquisition class, and it's called interaction hypothesis. This theory comes from the work of Michael Long, and we studied it through our book, Introducing Second Language Acquisition. My goal here is to show how simple moments of communication can actually shape a learner's language development. So in the textbook, interaction is actually described as more than two people talking, where interaction happens when speakers work together to understand each other. This includes asking questions, slowing down speech, repeating something more clearly, or offering a gentle correction. And I emphasize gentle because as educators, we always want to be a warm demander, right? So these moves are small, but they create opportunities for learning because they give the learner clues about what needs to change. The authors also emphasize that interaction is one of the most powerful conditions for language growth. And this is because it connects understanding, communication, and practice all at once. And according to the way the textbook explains Michael Long's theory, learners actually improve their language when communication breaks down and both speakers actively try to fix it. So these moments are called negotiation of meaning. For example, a listener might say, "Do you mean it this way?" or "Sorry, can you repeat that?" Or they might just simply repeat the sentence back to them in the correct form, which is what I personally found to be one of the most appropriate methods. I also learned how Long argues that these short exchanges push learners to notice differences between what they said and what they wanted to say. The noticing process explained in the textbook is what allows new language form to settle in the learner's system. I saw this clearly during a tutoring session at Mission High School, where one of my students tried to say it was difficult to take care of my sister, but she said it in a way where she was like, it was difficult to take care of my sister. So I noticed how she was stuck and maybe confused between car and care. So I repeated the correct phrase gently. She listened, compared it to her version, and immediately corrected herself. So according to Michael Long's theory of interaction hypothesis, this kind of back and forth actually supports learning because learners are not just copying. She was actually noticing the gap. She adjusted her language and she tested a new form. So in that moment, I was able to notice how communication and learning happen together. Our textbook also explains that interaction works because it makes language meaningful. The learner is trying to express an idea, and when they receive feedback at the right moment, it actually forces them to process the language more deeply. They try, they get help, and they try again. Each attempt actually reshapes their inner language, which is their developing internal system of rules. Our book also tells us that this trial and error process is very essential for long-term development because the learner needs to test their hypothesis about how English actually works. And I found this very similar to Swain's output hypothesis that requires learner being pushed to produce language they normally wouldn't, also known as like forced or pushed output. One of the most helpful points from the textbook is that not all feedback is the same. Good feedback supports communication and confidence. It includes repeating the correct form, asking a guiding question, or giving the learner extra time to think. But too much correction or correction, if delivered too harshly, can actually stop the learner from speaking at all. So, and I also, in chapter 6 of the book, where it talks about output, input, the author actually emphasizes that teachers and tutors should focus on errors that affect meaning, right? While letting small mistakes go during early stages. It's balance, and this balance actually keeps the learner engaged while still helping them grow at the same time. So this theory also has real implications outside of the classroom. It means that families, teachers, tutors like myself, and even peers can help language grow simply by engaging in a meaningful conversation, where they're like encouraged to express their ideas and receive supportive feedback. So their language develops naturally. What Long's interaction hypothesis shows here, and what our textbook makes very clear, is that language learning is a social, collaborative process. Every clarification, every question, and every small correction creates a learning opportunity. So acknowledging and understanding these concepts, makes us more prepared and more equipped to help create environments where learners can feel safe, confident, and most importantly, motivated. So that is a simple explanation of the interaction hypothesis based on the way it is presented in our book, Introducing Second Language Acquisition. It shows us that language isn't learned alone, but rather grows and develops through real conversations and with real people. And yeah, thank you.